It's now time to have with us Vaishnavi Soundarrajan, the regional manager of marketing MEA at Zoho. With an overall experience of 16 plus years, she has been with Zoho for more than 7 years now. In this role, she's responsible for creating and accelerating Zoho's marketing strategy and brand recognition across the Middle East and Africa region. She has significant experience in event management, lead generation, branding, strategic planning, and content marketing. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome her to the stage.
Thank you, Saha, for the introduction. Good afternoon. How was the food? Yeah, it was. It was. I was starving since morning because I reached Riyadh this morning around 8:30. So I came straight from the hotel. I was so happy to see biryani. So I'm Vaishnavi Soundarrajan, like she introduced, and I'd like to start off saying that I'm a marketer, and that is one common thing that I have with most of you here because I was going through the delegates list and I saw that it's mostly filled with marketers. Um, and it is of different seniority levels, but end of the day, all of us have the marketer mindset. And today I'm going to take you through a presentation where it's mostly based on my personal experience of how we set up the marketing team, how we managed to set up the regional marketing team for Middle East and Africa. So the topic is marketing better amid internal silos, broken communication lines, and endless noise. So what is marketing? So let's get to the basics. So what is marketing? If you go back thousands and thousands of years, our forefathers huddled besides fire and were sharing stories. So it could be something about that happened that day, or they were transferring knowledge. But telling stories has always been a part of who we were, or how we communicated. And one second, can I get a handheld mic? It's kind of a little uncomfortable to stand here and talk. Switch this on. Can you switch this on? Because it will, I think they have the access to off. Okay, thank you. All right. So, marketing is, like I already mentioned, it's about telling stories. So, the best story is always something that gets a lot of attention, right? But in the modern world right now, something is broken, something is fundamentally wrong. So, is it the stories or is it the line of communication? I'm sure it's not the stories because we have been master storytellers. We've been telling stories for thousands of years, and it is kind of hardwired in our head. So it is definitely not the stories. And the problem with the line of communication is we kind of complicate it a lot. So we bring in lots of steps, thinking that we're going to make it simple, but end of the day, it complicates things. So this is one of my favorite quotes by Bernard Shaw, George Bernard Shaw. He's a playwright, and of course he said a lot of controversial things, but this is the best thing that he's told. So this is what he said. He said, the single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. So I am communicating with you all right now. I'm speaking something. I'm under the impression that you understand what I'm telling, but I really don't know at what context you're actually understanding what I'm saying, right? So I am under the illusion that you're understanding what I'm speaking. So this is a problem. Because brands try to communicate things and they think it's a direct message, right? So we are selling something, so we know what we are selling, we know what is our story, so we go and say it. It's as simple as that, but that is not what is happening most of the time. What we say and what is actually understood are completely different. So I'm going to take a look at this to three things. The first thing is the people, the process, and tools. Talking about people, so it's about coherence. We get into a meeting room, we start discussing, we start sharing ideas. But the thing is, when you walk out of the room, people take a part of the story and walk away. It's like there is no coherence in understanding. So we operate in silos, and then there are assumptions on the stories and misunderstandings, frustrations, and we end up feeling insecure. So this has happened with our team as well. So there is a kind of story that we want to tell, but because we work with a cross-cultural team, so what a person that's sitting in South Africa understands out of that meeting is completely different from what a person sitting out of Saudi Arabia understands, because the context is different. So we had to fix this in the first place. So I'm going to take you through a brand identity prism. So every brand has an identity, right? So it could be the personality of the brand or the culture. So Zoho as a company is a very culturally oriented company. So what we put outside is completely different from some other SaaS company that puts it out. So there is a personality and there is a self-image. But if you look at it, what does the customer understand or a prospect understand? So it completely depends upon the relationship you build with the customer or a prospect, or it completely also depends upon the experience that they have received from you. So this is a complicated diagram. I would say why it is complicated, because it should be straightforward. As master storytellers, we should be able to tell something very simple, and the person who's sitting opposite should be able to understand it very simple. So we had to find a solution for this. And this is for the process. So I've put out this diagram here not to show or explain this. So this was created in 2011. So this process flow is still relevant today. So every company is trying to fix this issue. We are working on it. We are making things work. And then we're finding mistakes. We are testing and doing. And that happened with my team as well. And the next one is the tools that we use. So there are multiple tools that we use, especially now that most of the companies are working hybrid. So we have to rely on the communication tools and collaboration tools. Propagation tools and intelligence tools. Propagation is to actually put out your messages to what is your brand, or the identity of a brand, what messaging that you want people to understand. So those tools specifically, if you ask me, I would say social media management tools, or anything that is marketing tools. And communication and collaboration tools, it's straightforward. And intelligence tools, of course, you'll have to understand if what you're doing is right, and you have to do course correction. Coming to automation tools, automation AI. So it is the future, or it is the present right now. Everybody's talking about AI and automation, and yes, we talk a lot about automation because we have 55 plus applications, and every application has features that can be automated. So it is just right out there for our teams to use, because we always test our products. But does it make sense to automate processes just because it is available, or just because some other organization is using it, especially when the process is not fixed? So the process is already messy. So why do you add automation or AI to it and make it messy? So this is my learning. I'm nowhere saying that automation is wrong or artificial intelligence is wrong, but this adds another layer of discomfort for the teams. So what we did is we tried to create a space for conversations. So of course, it's obvious, results equals to action. So amount of action you put is going to yield you results. But what did we do? So we created a space for conversation, which is deemed very sacred. So this is the step. So in this sacred space, we had conversations that were very important inside the team, and every conversation were to be understood. If you don't understand the conversation, you have to get it clarified so that everybody is on the same page. Let's look at the problem number one. I'll give you an example of this. Way back in 2018, we did a user conference. It was a big mistake. What we did is we used our Zoho Backstage, which is an event management application. We used Zoho Campings to send out emails, and we did invite around 700 people, and 500 people confirmed that they will come. We were overbooked for the event, but it was perfectly automated. Everything was perfect. There was no problem. We didn't expect. 40 people turned up for the event. It was a big failure. It happened in Dubai. We had our chief evangelist, our CMO, and multiple big people fly out of India for this event, and it was a major disaster. Because we had the right tools, we followed automation, we did it, but we lost the human touch. That was the problem. This year, we did Zoholics in Dubai. We had 373 people present. We did the same sort of automations, but what did we add to it? We added the human touch. So every person who confirmed, we made sure we made calls. We had the local team call up and speak and confirm. So this is course correction. So I'm saying, yes, automation is important because it saves a lot of time. You send up follow-up emails instead of somebody sitting on it and doing it. The second thing is, what we did is, maybe the SWOT thing I did when I was in my MBA 15 years back, or 16 years back, I don't know. So we kind of worked on our SWOT analysis recently. I know it's a totally MBA term, but it helped. I'll tell why, because being a team that is regionally spaced, so in our team, we have about 5 or 6 people sitting out of the India office because it is very important to sit close to the product team, work with the product marketing team. And also, at the same time, we need people sitting out of different countries because we need context. So that was our strength. And as well as weakness, because we were not able to do a lot of marketing activities in countries that we do not have locals. So we started hiring and started adding to our strength. As far as the threats were concerned, of course, Google changing its algorithm every 6 months is a threat for a marketing team. And Zoho deciding that we will not do Google ads, okay, because we are a privacy-focused company, was a big threat for us, because I cannot do targeted ads, I cannot do tracking, I cannot do anything basically. It has to be, everything has to be organic. It's a huge threat that we had to overcome. So, but how did we find that it was a threat? Because we sat down on the table and we did it. And the third point was onboarding key teams and personnel. So, no team can work independently. For us, we have solutions consultation team, we have key account management team, and there's marketing team. So, every key person from each of these teams, we get on meetings. It's not a waste of time. I can guarantee you it's not like a 2-hour meeting where we sit and discuss unwanted things just because we had to do meetings. But those people were on board, and we discussed key points. These are the top 5 things that we have to do every month. And ever since, we've increased the number of customer testimonials, wherein because the key account management team has good rapport with the local customers, we were able to get good customer testimonials, and which is helping us a lot. And second is solutions consultation team. We were able to increase our cross-selling. So there are certain products that do really well. Like I already mentioned, we have 55 plus applications. There is a CRM, there is a creator, all this do very well here. But we were able to tap into the existing customers and do a lot of cross-sell, which was possible because we were able to work very closely with the solutions consultation team. The next is establishing a single source of truth. So our regional marketing team, though Zoho has been here for 26 years, we are not a very marketing-focused company. So we are an engineering company. Most of our employees are developers. And our base is in India, and we are proud of it, okay? But we have to catch up, right? So marketing is important. So when we participated in events earlier, though we had the right tools in our hands, we were not capturing it properly. So it was just having, like, the data was everywhere. One salesperson would probably put it in the sheet. Another salesperson would just collect the cards and then scan it on the card scanner and follow up. But what we did is we fixed that. So centrally, we created an application using Zoho Creator, and every lead from every event that's happening in the region gets pushed into our Zoho CRM, immediately gets allocated, assigned to a salesperson, and there is a follow-up. So there is a bit of automation, but there is also a line of a personal touch here, because the mail goes out, and then within the next 24 hours, the mail from the assigned person calls up and speaks. So that has actually improved us a lot. I can give you a small example. We kind of had a 60% ROI on one of our latest events that we did, where we invested a lot of money. And this wouldn't have been possible if this was not the case. Next thing is customer experience and employee experience. We keep talking about customer experience everywhere. Yes, it is very, very important, but at the same time, employee experience is also important. So it should be given as much importance as customer experience, and we changed that. So every person in our team has access to the best tools. Of course, we have all the marketing tools, but we also use external tools, which our company doesn't compete with, of course. So that is the thing. And the last thing is using the right tools without any bias. And I have heard this from a lot of customers, where they say, I was using this so-and-so product in my previous company, so I would like to continue using this. There is this loyalty. We can even call bias as loyalty. So that is something that we have to overcome. And of course, the FOMO. Just because we have access to all these tools doesn't mean that we use all these tools. So there are, we have Click, for instance. The application I said we use as a sacred space. We use that, but at the same time, we have Connect, where we can use Connect boards. But we decided not to do that. We chose applications which are only necessary, in spite of the fact that, the product teams tell us, why don't you try this? But we don't do that, because it is only adding to the confusion. So it is not about how many applications that you use, but it's about how you use them. So that has been the core, takeaway for us. So for me, the final message from my side is that, it is important to keep the fire alive and just keep doing course correction, keep telling the right story. First, get into the room, try and understand what is the story from your side, and make sure it resonates internally first. So only then you'll be able to take it out and explain it to your customers or prospects. That's it from my side. Thank you. If you have any questions.